Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and man, weather still continues to be flawless in southern Oklahoma. We're finally starting to dry out, but as it dries out, I'm starting to see some issues. A couple days ago, I went over to the pond and noticed we may have some problems. I'm not sure. We'll go over there and check it out a little bit. I just finished lunch and I'm trying to recover. Been sitting there editing on the computer for a couple hours because my wife tried to kill us in our morning workout today, and it has taken me a little while to recover. So thankfully, I have an easy excuse of, well, I'm just going to go sit and edit on the computer for a little while. It was rough. Well, I just thought I was going to head over to the pond. As soon as I got on the buggy, I got a notification at the gate that we had some packages delivered, and I think one of them's the one I've been waiting on and excited about. So let's go see what we got. Okay, Earl, let's do it. Ooh, I was right. Just the package I've been looking for. Thrive Market is an online membership-based grocery store that brings high-quality products straight to your front door. And as a matter of fact, their mission is to make healthy living easy and sustainable for everyone. So I'm going to take it back to the house and go through everything, show you everything that I got. But there's a couple things in here. There's even snacks for pets on Thrive. What about something like freeze-dried liver? Is that a good treat? Earl thinks so. Try that. Tell me if it's any good. It's even bear approved. Look at this. Household items like toothpaste, Dr. Bronner's toothpaste. They have all sorts of cleaning products, all kinds of healthy snacks.
Chomps. I have seen these before.
Organic ketchup. I mean, there's just all kinds of snacks, all kinds of treats. Oh, that's one thing. Yeah. Even health products like supplements and minerals and vitamins. I take creatine when I work out, so I got some creatine packets.
I love dried fruit. See what we got here. Ooh, organic strawberry fruit spread.
So once you find things on Thrive that you really like, one of my favorite features is that buy it again thing. You just click, 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 ship, and it shows right up at your door all your favorite things. What are you after now?
The dried fruit. These are delicious.
So Thrive Market is committed to supporting people and the planet by seeking out brands and products that follow ethical practices. So you can shop with peace of mind. DJ's gonna have all our snacks eaten before we ever get them in the cabinet.
I was gonna try it.
We used to grow a lot of our own foods and produce a lot of our own foods. It's just not possible as busy as we are now. It's great to find a company like Thrive that I can trust, that I know is good, organic food, and a lot of just household staples. Anything you can imagine just about that's in a grocery store, plus so much more, is on their website. You should check them out. Thanks again to Thrive Market for sponsoring today's video. If you want to check them out, go to thrivemarket.com/armsfamilyhomestead. You're going to get 30% off plus a free gift when you sign up. Okay, so back on the pond topic. Earl and I are going to go check it out and give you guys a first-hand look. I've kind of been waiting for everything to dry out because you really don't know if the dam is going to hold and do what it's supposed to while it's muddy. That pond filled fast, but it rained off and on for the better part of a month. And every time it would just start to dry out, it'd come another flood. And I'm not complaining because I never dreamed that pond would fill up that fast. I had a pretty good feeling. I knew that it would fill up over a few months, 3, 4, 5 months, but I was kind of hoping we'd get one of those big 5-inch rains and just fill it up fast. That wasn't the case, really. It was 1 and 2 inch rains here and there by, I mean like a couple times a week for a month, and it filled up. But everything has been so muddy around here that I really haven't been able to see what's going on, okay? between the backside of the dam and the spillway pipe, all the things. And we have to make sure that we don't have any serious leaks in the dam. And it's still early to know for sure, honestly, because it's starting to dry out in places, but it's going to take a while for this pond to completely settle in, lock in place, I feel like, and do everything it's supposed to do. I will say this, the other day I posted a video of Houston and I doing some catch and release fishing at the creek and the lake, and bringing a few fish over here to release into the pond. And obviously that's not going to stock the entire pond. We're not going to completely stock it that way. That's not the plan for what we have envisioned for this pond at all. And I've said that multiple times, but a lot of folks we're a little upset or confused maybe because we're putting fish in here and there's no food. They said, you haven't even put a single minnow in there yet. And that's true, but that doesn't mean there's no food in here. Houston Jacoby released a couple bass in here just for the fun of it. Not obviously really to stock the pond, but we put red ear and some bluegill and stuff that we caught out of the creek. And to say that they don't have food in here is couldn't be any farther from the truth. While there's not a huge stock of minnows in here, that's really not what bluegill and red ear are swimming around eating the most of. Red ear sunfish are also known as shell crackers because they eat little snails and slugs and things, little bugs and insects and things off the bottom. The bluegill are going to feed on a lot of different stuff. But let me just walk around. There is so much life in this pond already. I don't know if I can capture it all on video. Well, I can see some life. There's some life in the pond for sure. There goes a dragonfly, 2 dragonflies right there. The bluegill and the sunfish and all that stuff, they're going to feed on so much more than minnows. And I just think some folks are a little confused on that because they don't see a big, fish feeder set up yet, and we haven't stocked it with minnows, and that is true. Although I do have plans for 2 separate fish feeders, and we'll get those installed when we really stock this thing, because when we come in here and stock it with 3,000 plus bluegill, it is going to take a lot of food. And those are going to be hatchery raised fish that have grown up in a tank being fed every day, so they're used to being fed like pellet feed. The fish that we were catching out of the lake and the creek have had to survive on their own. They've eaten tiny little insects and bugs and all kinds of different little bitty frogs, little tadpoles. They've had to work for a living. And I promise you, there's enough life in here with no more than what number of bluegill and red ear that we put in here, they can find something to eat. So this is just a random spot that I walked up to. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but get back, Earl, you're stirring the water. Do you see the bugs? Well, nope. Earl stirred up the water. There's about 1,000 little tadpoles and little aquatic insects in there. And those bluegill are going to feed on that stuff way more than they are a bunch of minnows, really. There's a little bug. Oh, he gone. Earl, you're making this difficult. I'm trying to show off the bugs in the pond. There's a spider on the surface right there. Another little spider going across the surface. And I don't know if you guys can see them or not. There's little tiny aquatic insects scurrying around the bottom. And you come over here in the evenings and the sound of all the frogs is almost deafening. There's thousands of little frogs coming to life in here. And I'm not feeding frogs. They're finding food. So there is a lot here. Just because there's no minnows doesn't mean everything is going to starve. Okay, back to what I was talking about the pond leaking, the pond dam possibly leaking. I'm not sure that it is, but it potentially could have a leak. It's still full. The pond is full. So I'm going to start off with saying this. We've had a dry week or so now. The ground is starting to dry up really well. The pond was completely full and running through the spillway for several days. and it's still full. I'm going to lead off by saying this because I'm not trying to clickbait, fearmonger, panic, and say that the dam's built wrong and something's not right, because the pond is full. It is full to the brim completely. I'm laying on the spillway pipe, so there's a weird echo, and what I mean is it is still full to the bottom of the pipe. Okay, so if we had a severe leak and it was draining water, it would obviously be dropping below this pipe. Earl, that was a minnow. I just watched you chase a minnow. My fans told me there were no minnows in this water. It swam over here somewhere. Huh. It's a mystery. There's minnows in the pond. Go find one, Kels. Okay, so I led with that before we go down and look at the potential possible problems that we may or may not have. Because I want to take into consideration, as even though it does look dry up here on the surface, with 12 to 15 inches of rain, the ground is saturated. And this is freshly worked soil, topsoil, clay, and all of that. So I have no doubt that there's a certain amount of water that's absorbed into this dam like a sponge, and it just eventually has to push its way out. Now, wet spots on the backside of a pond dam usually are not a good thing. That's an indicator of a leak. But I'm not certain it's a leak yet. So this side of the dam all looks really dry, really good. My concerns start more towards the middle section. So you can see just in this view right here, there's a wet spot here. This is all a wet area. And you can, when I get close, you'll see water's definitely been seeping out. I mean, that's mud compared to dry dirt right there. Water's been seeping out, and you can see the mineral content in the water has almost made it look rust colored where it drained. And there's several spots of that across here. So like this one's probably the worst, and there's actually water still standing in here. Are you guys going to show me? There's actually still water still puddled in this, but it's not really draining. It's seeping out right there, and then it kind of just stops. Where a few days ago, you can see where it was draining too. It was seeping out and running downhill. So I'm already leaning towards this may not be a leak. This may be ground saturation, and all the weight compressing this fresh dirt is finally just like a sponge pushing the water out, and it's just coming out at these spots. But there's several like that. I mean, there's definitely water coming out right here of the ground. Now, we know it's not a spring. This is an elevated dam that was just recently built. So muddy. Obviously the spillway, runoff creek, whatever you want to call it. There's another big muddy area right there that's definitely higher than the spillway pipe. And I don't know if it'll come across on video very well. I can see basically a discoloration in the soil all right through there. But I don't see any water actually trickling out the way I did 2 to 3 days ago. So while these could be potential problems, I'm not too concerned yet. Because like I said, over the last several days, I've been kind of watching this, and it seems to be less and less. And the pond level's not dropping, okay? While it was above the bottom of that pipe and running into it, obviously it came down, but it's just holding strong at the bottom of that pipe. If we were losing any serious amount of water, it'd be dropping below that pipe. Now, that leads me to this. I do have a bit of a concern here. So with the spillway pipe, I think Cody, our pond builder, is going to come back and take a look at it in the next few days, because there's definitely water flowing out. I mean, you can see 2 little trickling streams down there. It's trickling, but it's not coming out of the pipe. It's coming out from under the pipe. And that is a concern, because we don't want the soil to erode around the pipe. So no water's draining from the pipe. We're clear on that. But you can see it's flowing water here, and that is coming from directly underneath the spillway pipe. Now, it was doing that the other day for a couple days while water was flowing out of the pipe. It was coming underneath there, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell on video. When you look in the pipe, there's a seam a third of the way through. So there's 3 separate pieces of pipe here, and at that seam right that I'm showing right here, there's a bit of a bulge. So we're wondering if some water's not getting in and around the pipe and coming out through here. But that water's got to be coming from somewhere. Obviously, somewhere up here in the dam. Now this pipe is buried, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet probably, it'd be my guess, at that seam. So that may just be where all this groundwater is coming to and finding a way to finally push to looser soil and then fall in that pipe to escape. But I'm not an expert and I really don't know. So I'm sure somebody out there, someone on this video knows a lot more about these issues than I do. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to tell me they know a lot more than I do. And I'm fine with that. But you tell me, do we have a leaky dam? Is the pond leaking? Is this a problem? Or is it simply just saturated soil from the pond dam that's brand new, that's all finally just working its way down through the clay and the soil and pushing out in a low spot? Most of it, I think, is fine. The one concern I have is that spillway pipe, because that's a very important piece of this puzzle in this pond. Earl's having a good time. That spillway pipe's a very important part of the puzzle in building this pond, because we need water to be able to escape, but we don't need it escaping around the pipe, because it will eventually erode and wash out and cause a huge problem and potentially lose your dam. And that is not what we want. So, maybe it's a problem, maybe it's not. I have talked to Cody, my pond builder, and he's going to come down either this week or next and take a look at it and give me his 2 cents on the matter. And if there's a problem, we'll get it fixed. All right, listen, guys. I'm going to do this. But y'all better keep your mouth shut and not tell Houston, because he's at school. It's the last week of school, and I'm down here on the creek without him. And try to sneak down here, catch a few bluegill, put them in the pond. It's not a secret, but we don't have to tell Houston everything, right? There's a pretty good little hole of water right here that should have some fish in it. Always does. Over the last few storms, the creek's trying to switch directions, switch flow areas. It's never, the main portion of the creek has never gone through here. It's always gone across that way and around. And the last couple storms, it's moving the creek a little bit. There's just kind of an island out there now. But There should be some bluegill hiding in this little deep hole right here. First cast. Looks like a green sunfish though. Unfortunately, not one that's going in the pond. Sorry, Earl. Tried to hand him to you. Here's a little guy. Going in the bucket, buddy. Ooh, missed one right there. There's a little bass, about 4 inches long, swam by. I missed him. He's still looking at it. Not that I really care about a 4-inch long bass to go in the pond, but still. Usually this little hole of water is pretty stacked full of fish, but it is pretty early in spring. The bluegill haven't really spawned much yet, so I'm quite a ways, long ways up the creek from where we normally fish. Oh, there's one. Green sunfish. Talk about a dink. There's a lot of little bitty fish in here, but I mean, you'd need a cast net to catch most of them. Oh, there's one. Green sunfish. Creek is just full of these little greenies, and they are aggressive little fish. Earl, you're too slow, buddy. There's one. Another green sunfish. A little bigger one though. They're over there in that deeper water in the shade. There's a rock ledge over there. Kelsey, you're trying to ruin my life, aren't you? Well, I made it up to some shade. Catching a few more fish. I caught one decent little actual bluegill a few minutes ago. This one's a long ear. But man, I'm telling you, there is not a prettier fish that swims in a creek than that right there. So sitting out here on the creek bank just kind of is my sanctuary. It's where I spend a lot of time thinking and just pondering the world. Oh my goodness, look at that. Just caught a fish. I was just sitting out here minding my own business, thinking, being quiet. It's just quiet time for me out here. And I get a phone call from Sarah Arrington, which is Rob from Deer Meat from Dinner, his wife. And I'm sure a lot of you by now know that Robert's had a couple strokes. He's a huge content creator. He's the man in the fishing industry and YouTube. And we've not ever been able to link up and shoot any content together, but we've watched Rob for many years. And he's going through some tough times right now, going through some struggles with a couple different strokes. And don't you dump my fish out. Kelsey, you just ruined my moment. I got to go pick up my fish. Quit. Well, they didn't all spill. There's a couple still in there. Earl, don't eat my fish. Hang on. We'll get back to what I was trying to talk about. Kelsey, don't kill my fish. Okay? Anyways, back to what I was saying before the crazy GSP happened. Kelsey, don't knock the bucket over. Rob's going through a rough time right now. A lot of struggles in his life with these strokes. And he's getting better. And things are improving. But he's got a long road ahead of him. So, guys, if you could, do me a favor. Just go over to Deer Meat for Dinner on YouTube. Shoot him a little message of encouragement. Tell him Daniel from Arms Family Homestead sent you over. And watch some of their videos. Show him some support. I can't imagine what their family's going through. They've got 2 little girls, and it's going to be a struggle for a little while for them. But I believe he'll get through it. I believe God's in control, and God's got him in his hands and has a plan for the whole situation. But that doesn't make it any easier. It's a hard struggle. But anyways, let's catch a few more fish, and maybe Kelsey won't dump them all out. Hey, leave my fish alone. I got another one hitting my lure just sitting here in the water. Lost 2 in a row. There's one. A little long ear. Well, I think that's about as far as I'm going to go up the creek for now. It's getting close to 5 o'clock. Kids should be home from school, and I don't have a clue what the evening plans are, so I'm not going to stay out here forever. But I promise you, I could stay out here for days and days and days. There is, to me personally, there is not a more beautiful place on this earth. We love to travel. DJ and I love to go to the beach. We've been to the Bahamas. We've been a lot of different places, a couple different places in Mexico, all over Florida. We're not world travelers by any means, but DJ loves to travel. She loves the beach, and I love it too. But this creek, and it's just because it's been my peace, my place all of my life. And this time of year, after these big spring rains and everything calms down, it's the prettiest it'll ever be. It's pristine right now. As we heat up into summer, it'll get mossy and algae will start growing. It'll get a little nasty and dingy and not quite as pretty, but still amazing. But this time of year, I can stay out here for days on end, catching little bitty teeny tiny fish. But I think I put together a pretty decent bucket. I've probably got 12 bluegill, maybe. Caught a ton of green sunfish and a bunch of long ear sunfish, but a few bluegill. So I'll go dump those in the pond and see what the kids want to do for the evening, I guess. It would appear I'm missing some fish. I know I had more in there than that. I don't know who the guilty parties would be and who would steal my fish, like a little thieving raccoon or something, but I don't know. Could have been anybody, I guess. All right. We'll be at your new home in just a few seconds. All right, little dudes, off to your new paradise. They're gone, Earl. Maybe we'll see them again someday. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today. Remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know. It just might change the world. So, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.